Good morning, traders. It is a beautiful morning, isn't it? Well, in Florida, it's a beautiful morning. Back home in Chicago, oh my God, in the Midwest, and we have traders all over the world. So I don't know how it is there, but today it's a beautiful morning. Anyway, we had a 3-day weekend for the most part, and the markets opened up Sunday night, and then they went to 12 o'clock. I really don't think the markets are worth trading on at least the ES, on the indices for the most part, or the bonds during a holiday, just because you could see what we did. We'll go over it. But meanwhile, let's take a look at what we have in front of us. Okay. So, well, let me just touch bases on this ES for a minute, right? Um, I'm going to use my little drawing tools. Oh, we're going to have fun today. So, if you look at the 29th here, December, this was very trappish for the most part. Um, we made the all-time highs for 2023 on the 29th or the 28th during Asia. Europe session moved during the day, or that was the 27th. On the 28th, we failed to take out that yearly high during the US session, came back up, made a higher high than the US session, but still failed to take out the 2023 on the next evening. And then, of course, the last day uh, of the last trading day, US trading day, we opened up and we sold off. The first day of the year, we made this high during the Europe session, right? And then we open up the first of the year here. Okay. Of the US session. So here we are. We came all the way back after selling off, that, bit of a trap and a failure the first week, and then came all the way back the second week, all the way up to this 2023 year high, but failed again. And the US session failed to test this previous high completely. But we opened, did a quick hit the rim, and then we sold off, right? Now we put in this overlapping value area again. Going to control this pretty big area here, high volume node. During the US session over here, we continued to respect it, and we respected it on the Asia Open of last night and sold off. So this is a big area. It's a high volume node. And, the jury's not out yet if this is a short term top. But in 2021, it was very similar. We made all time highs in the summer of 2021. We breached up, hit the rim, failed on January to do more than a just quick test on the first day, and then ended up having a 500-point sell off in January. Not to say we're going to do that, but the thing is, never count out the first month, because the first month is the barometer for the rest of the year. Now, with that being said, we take one day at a time, but you can see what's going on at the moment. We have some overhead resistance again, very similar from the previous last week of the year up near here, but we failed to get up there. Now we're coming back. We're going to open up with a gap, probably a bit of a gap from previous US session lows, right around that 02 area, which was a big area. And the pivot for me is 04.5 to 05. They get back above here. This is the high of Europe, but also the high of the value area from Asia. And we have multiple highs and lows right there. So this is where I feel the market has the potential to do a flip if we get above there. Now, we take one data point at a time, and currently we're coming off and we have this overhead resistance. So, it's a wait and see. It's still early in the year, if you want to call it. This is you know, now we're in the third week, right? So I'm gonna favor, a test of the overnight lows first, and unless we get above the pivot of 4804.05, I think we have a chance to get there, early on. But this is a big area. You could see the inside pocket that we had from here on the way up. This whole area is where the market tested the overnight session this morning, actually, basically after the opening. Europe tested down there this morning and held. So 47, 83, 84 is going to be good support until we take it out, right? It's only good until it's taken out. So we'll keep an eye on the first 15 minutes of the opening and see if we get 3 pushes up or down off the opening price, and let the market kind of give us the roadmap as we move forward. Now, like I said, I think the market has a little pressure to the downside. It's failed already, multiple times up at that 48, 41 and a half area, the 23 yearly high where we closed and tested the last 2 days before the last time of the year. So we'll see. We're not here to predict the market. Let the market kind of give us the roadmap as it goes on. We take one data point at a time. All right, so let's move on to the next market. And let's take a look at this crude. The crude has been, for the most part, coiling in this area. We've got a lot of price overlap. This is just boom, boom, boom. I mean, you can't deny that this market is a little on the confused side. I mean, we can't make up our mind, right? This is, so we have a lot of price overlap here, right? And as it's like, I call this the souvlaki, the shish kebab, where you could draw a line through all these sessions, and we have a lot of price overlap showing no real direction. Okay, so yeah, take it with a grain of salt. And when you look at these levels and when they fail and they do a test and they bounce off of, like this morning, we bounced off this level here, 73.60. I think they happen to take that out. Then we got a chance to go higher. Right now we're at the point of control, right? We traded the most so far since we opened up. And the pivot is right below at 72.30. If they get below 72.30, I think there's, a chance that we can get down and test down here. Currently, the market is very neutral for me. You can see we're trading inside the overnight session. We did test it in the morning and then backed off, and we held the resistance. You could see this is a big level. We've had enough highs there where you got to say, okay, there's the point of control. This is the cave. That's a big area, and we stopped here at 73.60. So, if we get above there, we can, go the other way. Now, meanwhile, the pivot is point of control. We've got a lot of lows there. It's the middle of this whole level here. It's also a high volume node. I think we get below there, we can go to the dark side and maybe take it down a little bit. But we have no real direction. A coil is unpredictable. Just like if you were to take a spring and you were to try to squeeze it as much as you can until you can't hold it anymore, you don't know which way that's going to pop, which way it's going to go. So don't predict, let the market tell you. And that's what we got going today, right? All right, let's go to the next level. I'm sorry, the next chart. 1 second. All right. All right, we've got the gold here. The gold opened up down here, had a rally after the number, filled the previous US session. I look at Friday as really its session to pay attention to, not this little half a day that we had here. And especially you could see the point of control was just the point of control from the previous Sunday night. Last night we had a big range, double distribution. We came in, we did what we normally do, ledge to ledge. This was the high volume node, and then this was the ledge down below here. This morning we came in and pretty much came close to filling in the cave, but we did what we needed to do to fill in the low from Friday. Now, a little bit similar to the crude in a sense that we're not quite the coil, but we have a fairly decent sideways market if you consider 70 to 20 here has been about almost a 3-week high to low. And currently we're in the middle. So my pivot's right here at 48 basically. It's the high volume node. It was where we tested down here and bounced. We have highs here. You can see all the way across, some lows, and it's a high volume node. So we opened up, we had a quick rally on the number and came right back, and we're kind of in the middle of the range. So we could go either way in this gold. It's not doing too much. We're down 7. It's like not a big deal for gold to be down 7 at this point. But we did do a test of the pivot, and there's a chance we could come back in and maybe test a little bit down, into this lower, probably test between these two levels, this, high volume node above, and this other ledge below. Kind of a day for me to sell rallies by dips. I don't think you'll have a trend day. I think it's more of a scalping type of mode until proven wrong. That's what it looks like to me. All right. Let's go to this EC. Now, the EC had a little bit more of a pretty big range and did not bounce quite as much. Lately the EC, the gold and the bonds have been somewhat correlated, but like Linda says, they're correlated until they're not. You can't, nothing is correlated forever. And you can see where the EC is actually on, it did not fill its gap. If I were to highlight this, which, I like to do to remind us, here's, the gap from Friday to this morning's high, to the morning US session high. And so we have a big hole there above. Now they did take out the overnight lows, but they held major support there. So, the support in the EC, that comes in right around that 108, 98, 99 area. And the overnight level, we took out the overnight level by a couple ticks. Now, are we done testing? I don't know, at this point, but I am more in the camp that they got the EC on the fence. And if they take out these lows that they made in the morning, they could really, catch a bit of a break and take it down to the 200 daily SMA, which comes in right around that. Oh, let's see, what is it? 108.70. Now, on the flip side, we've got this big cave above, which we might not fill today, but we have a gap above, and these levels here are kind of important because we get back above this into the single prints from the overnight session or the US session this morning. Maybe they make a play to fill in, do a partial fill of the gap. So jury's not out with the you see if we're going, which way they want to go. Right now, they are pressing a little bit lower. So we'll keep an eye on that. The pivot is way above, and the market really sold off last night. So you could use the current high actually for the day. Let me just hang on a second. I believe that high is 109, 109.95.50, right? That is the overnight high, but the current high here, right around this level of 109.26 to 27. We take that out, we can maybe get in here and fill part of the gap. So I would use that as a pivot, call it 109.2830 as this is a big level. You could see we had a low here. It's kind of like close to the bottom of the value area from this big, this was in a report bar that we had that day. So we take out the highs, they might come back in and fill the gap a little bit. We'll keep an eye on that. The bonds look very much like the gold in a sense that we have this pretty much small range over the last week and a half. We came down here and we did this complete. Let me just highlight this for a second, just so it's easy to see when I do this. Let's just do this. So there's a big area from here all the way to here. This was a quick little spike, but this is the price overlap that we have. So the market and the pivot is right in the middle at 122.10, and we got up to, I think, 09. Very small range, but the bonds are starting to head back down, and they could test the lows. If they take out the swing low right around that 121.08, they could have a leg down after that, and that can be a much greater push. Came pretty close to filling the gap from the Monday half day, but that doesn't really count. I mean, the banks are closed and everything. So we did fill the gap from Friday's low. That was the more important area to watch, right? So I think we got a chance of actually taking the lows, this swing low out here, or testing it, getting at least down to maybe 21.19. We're on our way, and we'll keep an eye on that this morning. The pivot for me, though, is 122.12. They get back above 122.12, hey, all bets are off. You're back above this 200 daily SMA. You're above the value area from the previous overnight session and the lows from Monday. So that's where I think the market would go the other way. All right, let's go back to our main page. Kyle, you did another bang out review this morning. As you know, Kyle shows a different picture, and together we try to give you a couple different ways to look at the market, right? Okay, so let's just see here, and I'll bring this up here in the 5 minute. You can see we're just trading in the center a little. This is the point of control where we're at right now from the US session at 196.75, pretty much right around the 5 minute EMA. We're not that far from the center here of gravity with the NAS. So it might not be too crazy today. A day after a 3-day weekend usually can be quiet because quite a few families can take off 4 days or 5 days and they squeeze that extra day in, and sometimes it's a little bit of a hangover from the day off on Monday. So we'll see. But that's why we're here. Let's see if anything develops in these markets. All right, let's rock and roll today, and we've got 8 minutes to the opening. Let's let the first 15 minutes kind of play out today. I'll be back in a little bit. I'm gonna get some coffee and right here on the opening.